bulk data operations, right? Okay, and I told you that first thing that we have to do is we have to get the data loader installed. I'm hoping that everyone got it installed. All right, and then we were trying to actually log into the data loader, right? After installing the data loader, we were trying to log in into the data loader. Fine. Okay, so we'll just quickly log in into the data loader. In the meanwhile, I have checked for the in the meanwhile, I'm gonna check. I have checked for the update. I was telling you that there is some update on Salesforce which is actually causing that difficulty. Did anyone try to log in into data loader? Did you guys get a chance to install data loader, and did anyone try to log in into data loader? And did you face the same issue? Did you get the same issue? Okay, you guys do not get. Okay, so basically the issue that the error that I was getting was because of the TLS, right? So okay, so now this TLS is basically got to do with some versioning of TLS of your internet browsers that you're using, right? Now what has happened in one of the updates, I'll just show it to you. Just for your understanding, in case you guys face this issue at a later point of time. So this TLS has got versions 1.0, 1.1 and 1.2. Okay, so these are the versions of the TLS which are used. All right, so this is basically something which is done on your browser settings. Right, so sometimes it may happen that your browser setting is set up to TLS 1.0 and it's not using TLS 1.1 or 1.2. Okay, which can be enabled definitely on your browser. So that's one solution. Now yesterday the error which we were getting was saying that you need at least TLS 1.1 or 1.2 on your browser to log in into data loader. All right, so first solution is go back to your browser and set it up to 1.1 or 1.2. All right, and that's pretty simple. That can be done from your browser. I think I'll look for that. Okay, that's something which is pretty simple. You can easily search on Google and do it for whichever um, browser you have. Or I think this link should also work fine. Or you can actually look into this link. This link actually has got enabling TLS 1.1, TLS 1.2 on your web browsers. All right, so this has got almost all the browsers listed here, so you guys can use this. Just use it for your reference in case you want to understand how to update that. Okay, all right. Other thing that you can do is, if you do not want to update your TLS settings on your web browser, you can actually on Salesforce, I told you in the recent updates they have made it required to use TLS 1.1 or TLS 1.2. Okay, so that's something that they have made it a necessary thing. So you can just go ahead and deactivate that update. Okay, so that's the other solution. You just need to go to your salesforce.com. Give me a moment, I'll just log in into it. So once you're logged in into your Salesforce, just go back to your updates. It will show you. Okay, yeah. Search for critical updates, go to critical updates, and in critical updates there is an option. The second last option is require TLS 1.1 or higher for HTTPS connection. All right. So by default it is activated. Now I have deactivated it. You should just click on deactivate. All right. In case you find that error and you don't want to change your browser settings, then you can deactivate this. All right. So now this is one of the new updates that they have done, and because of that there's this problem, right? So it requires your browser to have at least TLS 1.1 setting. All right. So either way, either you could just go and enable TLS 1.1 or TLS 1.2 on your web browser, or just say that don't require a TLS 1.1 setting on this. Fine. Either way. So I've not actually changed the browser settings. I just deactivated this. Okay. And now I should be able to log in into the data loader. All right. Just for your knowledge. Okay. So let's go back to the data loader. Give me one quick moment. I'll just press the security token. Yeah. Now the login completed successfully. All right. Okay. Now click on next. Now we have chosen insert operation, right? For insert, I told you first of all you'll have to get the spreadsheet, put all the data. Okay. So for insert, it's a pretty simple process. First of all, get the data that you want to insert into a spreadsheet and then save it in a CSV format. Okay. Once you have saved it in the CSV format, all that you need to do is you just need to go to data loader, upload the file. That CSV file needs to be uploaded and map the fields. That's it. So it's pretty simple. Go to data loader, upload file, and then map the fields and define location for log files. That's it. All right. So first of all, get the data into a into a spreadsheet, save it in a CSV format. CSV format is the only format which is considered by data loader. So data loader will not take any other format. So we'll have to save it in CSV format. Then we'll go to data loader, upload the file, map the fields. Okay. When I'm saying map the fields, basically mapping your columns of spreadsheet with the fields in Salesforce. So let's say your column name is phone number and the field name is phone. Okay, so we just have to map it that this field or this column data should go into this particular field. Okay, and then you need to define a location for saving your log files. What is these log files? See, whenever I try to perform a bulk operation, some records will get processed properly and some records will have errors. Let's say I'm trying to put 100 records into the system. Out of those 100 records, there can be 10-20 records which fail to get inserted. There can be any reason for that, right? For example, instead of phone number, there's a text value there. Okay, or some required field is missing. That way. All right. So some records might have errors and they will not get inserted, and some records will get inserted. So at the end of any data loader or any bulk operation which you perform through data loader, this data loader creates two files. one success log and one error log file. Okay, so there will be two files created, success log and error log. Okay, success log will have all the records which got processed, and error log will have all the records which could not be processed. So that after performing that bulk operation, if you want to see which records were not inserted and what was the error, you can actually look into the error log file. Correct? So these two are also going to be in CSV format. Okay, so Salesforce, this data loader is going to create two files. One will be a success log, one is going to be an error log, and these two files are going to be uploaded. These two are going to be saved in the location that you define here. Okay, where do you want to save the success and error log files, that you have to define, and that's it. That's the entire process. Okay, now let me quickly pick a dummy file. I might be having a file already, so I'll use one of the files and we will perform this data loader insert operation. So let's see if I have already got some file. Okay, so this is a sample file that I have, and we are going to insert all these records into the Salesforce. All right. So instead of manually entering, let's say these are 4 records that I have. Instead of 4, there could have been 50, there could have been 1000, doesn't matter. Okay, the process will remain same. So we have got these 4 records. Instead of manually entering all these records into the system, what we want to do, we want to perform a bulk data operation here. So first thing, get the data into a spreadsheet this way, name, phone, website. Okay, you've got it this way. Now what is the next thing I need to do? I just need to go back to I just need to save it in CSV format. That's what I told you, right? So get your data in this spreadsheet and save it in CSV format. To save it, you can just go to File, Save As, and give it a name. And make sure that you save it in CSV format, comma delimited format. Okay, CSV comma delimited format. This is in which you have to save. Sometimes you will see CSV Macintosh, CSV MS-DOS. No, we have to save it in CSV comma delimited format. All right. Click on save. Click on yes. That's it. Okay. So your CSV file is ready. Now go to data loader. In the data loader screen, you have just logged in. After login, this is the screen that you see. First thing you have to do, you have to select the object in which you want to insert the data. The data needs to be inserted in account. Then choose your CSV file that you just created. Go to browse and choose your CSV file. This is the file that I just created. Open it here. Go to next. That's it. What is the next thing that we have to do? We have to map the fields. Okay, it will give you a small message saying that it contains 4 records, or whatever is the number of records it contains. That will be shown here. Click on OK. And then we have this option to map the fields. Okay, so you can click on create or edit a map. Now at the top you have all the salesforce.com fields, and here you have all your all the columns from your CSV file. Okay, we have to match the CSV file columns to the Salesforce fields. That's what we have to do. Like for example, here there's a field, there's a column called city in CSV file. Okay, which is billing city in Salesforce. So you can drag and put it here. Okay, so that's it. You have to just search for the correct field and map it against the columns in the CSV file. Okay, before you start doing it manually, try to do an auto match. what will auto match do? It will at least match the fields where the names are same. Click on auto match. See, name, phone, website. Where the name is same for the CSV column and Salesforce field, those fields will automatically get matched. Other fields you have to match manually. All right. So billing country can come here. Billing state can go here. Billing street address will go here, and billing zip code comes here. All right. Okay. So all the fields have been mapped properly. Click on OK. In case you feel that you are gonna use the same kind of a mapping, again and again. For example, this is the standard template for your or standard format for your import file, and every time you're gonna get the import file in the same format or same set of columns, you can save this mapping for future reference also. Okay, you can just save it. So this when you try to save the mapping, it's gonna get saved in .sdl format. You can save it anywhere. And at a later point of time, you can use this mapping instead of again creating the mapping. All right. So I'll not save it now. I'll just click on OK. Okay. So if you have a saved mapping, you can just click on choose an existing map and choose that file, .sdl file that you saved there. All right. Now this part is fine. All the fields have been mapped properly. I just need to click on next. It will ask me for the location for success and error files. I told you have to define a location where you want to save your success and error log files. Okay, so you can just browse a directory where you want to save it. It's already gonna save it here in this directory. If you want to save it in another directory, just browse that directory location, and your almost everything have been defined here. Finally, you just need to click on finish. That's it. It will ask you, do you want to proceed? Yes. And it will take some time. Bulk data operation will complete and give you a message. So there were 4 successful inserts and 0 errors. So there was no error in this case. All right. You can see the successful records or error records here itself. Okay. So this also has got a CSV viewer. You can just click on this and you can actually see this CSV viewer. You can see the success and error records here, or you can just go and open your success or error log file from Microsoft Excel or any such similar application. All right. So 4 records successfully got inserted, and I can now just go and open the success log file. So let me just open the success log file here. Okay. Now the name of the success log file will be success actually. Okay. See, these are all error log files. Okay. So usually the name of an error log file is error followed by the date. Right. So from date you can understand which is the error log file, followed by the time. So from there you can actually get an idea that which is the file for today, which is the error log file for today. All right. So today should be 7th October or 6th October. This is the one that is of today, 7th October, right? So this is my success log file for today, 7:24 a.m. Let me quickly open this. Yeah, there's the file. Okay. Now, interestingly, you would see that we actually inserted these fields, right? When the success log file comes, it has got one more field which is status. That's absolutely fine. It has just got the status of the record, whether it got created or not created, so that's fine. Apart from that, I see one more field which is ID. Okay, did we have this ID field in the import file which I was trying to insert? Did my CSV file have this ID field? No. Did we have this ID field in the file that we created, the CSV file? No, we did not have, right? But still I can see this ID field. So this ID is basically a system generated ID. So every time you create a record, there's an ID which is generated for the record. We don't supply the ID. It's system generated. All right. So apart from all these fields that you see on any object, like name, email ID, phone number, whatever fields we have, apart from that, every object has got an ID field. And this ID value, you don't decide, it's a system generated ID. All right. So when you create the record, Salesforce automatically generates the ID for the records, and this ID is basically the unique identifier. This is a unique identifier for the record. Got it? Every record will have an ID. If you want to see the ID of a record in the UI, now this is through data loader, but if you just go ahead and create a record on the UI and you want to see the ID, let me just go here, and if you just go and click on accounts and then you create a new record, ABCD, whatever, just create a record. Okay, the moment you create a record, there's an ID generated for it. Where do you see that ID? You can find the ID of the record in the URL. This is the ID of the record. You open any record, every record will have an ID, and you can find the ID in the URL. After salesforce.com/, you will see the ID of the record. Got it? So now once you create bulk records, it in the success log file, you will find the IDs of the records which got created. That's what we see here. Okay. Got it. So now what we have to do next is the update operation. Insert operation we have seen. Update operation is pretty similar. Okay. So what is update? Update is basically updating the records which are already existing. In insert, we were trying to create new records into the database. Now we are trying to update the records which are already in the database. Okay. So first of all, let's understand the logic, what we need to do. After that, the process of doing that is going to be very simple. So what exactly we need to do? We have got a few records in the database and we have to update those records, right? In this case, your CSV file needs to have a reference to the record which need to be updated and what data you want to update. Okay, so what you need to basically give some reference for the records, which records need to be updated. That needs to be given, and which fields you want to update, the values of those fields. That's it. Let's say I just want to update the phone number of all these records, the ones that I created. Now I need the updated phone numbers and I need the reference to the records for which I want to update the phone number. So which field do you think I can use for giving reference to the records which need to be updated? Which is going to be the best field to give the reference for the record which need to be updated? Can I use the name? Account name. Let's say I have to update phone numbers of these records that we just created. Can I use the account name as a reference? Can we do that? So if I have to update these records, can I use the account name as the unique identifier? No, we cannot. Why? Because there can be two accounts with the same name. In that case, my data loader is going to get confused about which record to update. So for reference, I just need a field which is unique so that data loader doesn't get confused. So for reference, for updating records, You always need to use the ID. Okay. So now for update file, all that you need IDs of the records which need to be updated, and you need the field values of the field which needs to be updated. Okay. So let's say I want to update the phone number and country of all these records. So I can create a new file, and then in this new file, I'll update the country. Street address I don't want to update, so I don't need it. Website I don't want to update, I don't need it. Name also I don't want to update, I don't need this column. I just need the columns which need to be updated. Phone numbers I want to update. Okay. So I want to update the phone and country for these records. So I've got the IDs. Okay. You don't need the names here. You just need the IDs, the updated phone numbers, updated country, and that's the file ready for your update operation. You just need to save it now and perform the update operation. Go to files, save as, save it in comma delimited format, update accounts, all right, so that's what I have. Accounts file is ready. Now I can just go ahead and use this file in the data loader to update the records. So click on update. This time we are performing an update operation, so we won't click on insert, click on update. Okay. Which object? Account object. Browse the file. We have got update accounts. This is the file that I just created. Open it. Go to next. Process remains same, nothing else. Just that, instead of insert, you have selected update. That's it. The same mapping of field. We have to map the fields. Try to auto match. ID field will be mapped automatically. Phone also got mapped automatically. And country. Okay. Click on OK. Go to next. Again, just give the location for success and error log files. Click on finish. Done. Are you sure you want to proceed? Yes. So 4 successful updates. So if you just go and see, all these items have got updated. All right. So update is, kind of easy. All that you need to do is you just need to have the IDs of the records which need to be updated, and only the columns that need to be updated. We don't need all the columns. So now the update is also done. Now let's do a bulk delete. Delete is even more simple. All that we need for delete is one field. Which field do you think we need for delete? For deleting records, I just need one field in my CSV file. Which field do you think we need? It's ID, right? So because you want to delete the records and you just want to give the reference of the records which need to be deleted, right? So if you just give the ID field, that will be more than enough. You don't need any other column in the CSV file. So we'll just go to this file. Let's say I want to delete all these records. So I can just remove all these columns. There won't be any problem even if these columns are there, because in delete you just have to map one field, ID. Even if these are there in the CSV file, there will not be any problem. But just for your understanding, I'm deleting all these columns. I'll just keep one column here, which is ID, and I'm going to save it. File, save as, and I'll call it delete. Okay, so my delete file is ready. Now all that we need to do is we just need to go ahead and perform the delete operation on the data loader. Okay, so here is the delete option. Delete accounts, browse the file, same same concept. Click on open, go to next. Here mapping the fields is also going to be mapping the field is also going to be very simple, because there is just one field from the Salesforce and there is one field from your CSV, right? So ideally there is nothing else which needs to be mapped. So this is also pretty simple. Click on OK, go to next, and say finish. It's gonna delete the records. Okay. Alright, so here is a small warning for you. It just says that your recycle bin has got limited space, so just make sure that you want to delete the records, because sometimes the data might get lost from the recycle bin. Okay, I'm pretty fine with it. Yes, are you sure you want to delete? Yes. Click on this. So usually what happens when you perform a delete in Salesforce, when you delete a record, usually that record does not get permanently deleted, it goes to the recycle bin. Now I deleted these 4 records. If you go to Salesforce and see, you will find that these records have actually landed up in the recycle bin. See. Okay, so whatever you delete basically gets into the recycle bin. So these are the 4 records that we just created, right? These 4 records we created, and just now I deleted them, right? So it goes into the recycle bin, and if you want to restore these records, undelete these records, undelete is the terminology that we use for restoring a record back into the database. You can select the records. If you feel that these records got deleted by mistake, you want to undelete them, and just select them and click on undelete. All right, so that's how a delete operation works. Okay, so you can actually delete multiple records this way. Okay, now the next thing is basically the export option. Okay, now an export is basically an option for you to take the data from Salesforce to CSV format. Okay, if you want to take out the data from Salesforce and you want to put it in a CSV file, then you use an export. Okay, now why would we do this? If you're thinking that why would we actually export the data from Salesforce to CSV format, there can be several reasons. Sometimes you might do it for just taking the backup of the data. Right? You just want to take a backup, you can export it. Sometimes it may be done for some cleansing activity. You just want to take out the data, take the data out of Salesforce and then perform some data cleansing activities using some other applications and all, and then put the data back into the system. For that reason you can do it. Or sometimes it just it might just be for taking the IDs of the records. Now, I showed you that for performing a delete operation or update operation, you need the IDs. Now, you have to get the IDs from somewhere, right? So you can actually get the IDs using this export operation. So let's say if I want to delete all the records from Canada, so I need the IDs of all the records from Canada first of all. So that is something which can be done using an export option. So using an export, I'll be able to get the IDs of all the records in CSV format, and then I can use that file to perform the delete operation. Got it? So that's how it is. So export allows you to get the data from Salesforce in a CSV format. It's very simple. You just need to go to export, select the object that you want to export, browse the location where you want to save the file, Okay, that's fine. You also have the option of defining the name for the file. What will be the name of the file? For my file, it's extract.csv. Click on next. Okay, says there is an existing file with that name. I'll overwrite or I'll replace that file. No problem. Now here it's pretty simple. You just have to decide which all fields you want to export. I need ID, I need the name, I need type, billing city, state, country. So you select or choose the fields that you want to export and website. All right. Let's say these are the fields that I need. Okay. Now these are the fields that you have selected. Do you want to put any conditions? If you don't put any condition, then it's going to export all the records. But if you want to put any condition, let's say just export the records which meet us certain criteria. Let's say I want to export all the records where industry is equals agriculture, or I want to export all the records where country equals Canada, their billing country is Canada, right? So these kind of conditions we can put here, and we can add the condition. So you just have to add the condition here. Okay, but I'm not going to put the condition because I'm not very sure if we have data from any of these conditions. I'm going to put it right now, but you can add those conditions and then just click on finish. Okay, sure you want to proceed? Yes. So now it will create that extract.csv in the location that you defined, and extract.csv will have all these 19 successful extractions. So all the records got extracted and they have got saved. They have been saved in the CSV format in the defined location. Okay, so now let me just go and open that extract.csv. I'll just open extract. This is the file. No, on this one. Okay, sorry. I think I did not define the location properly. One moment. Seems it got saved somewhere else because this is a different file. No worries, we'll do it one more time. So click on export, go to account, browse the location. So location needs to be browsed. extract123.csv. Fine. Okay. Yep. Now it's fine. Now it's getting saved in this location. Click on next. Select the columns that you want to extract or export. Billing city, country, phone, website, industry. Go to finish. Yes. Okay, so now 19 records have got extracted. I will just open the file. Yeah, this is the file. Open it. Okay, so here are all the records that we just extracted. See this? Correct. So now, if you're trying to perform a delete or an update operation, these IDs will be required. So at that point of time, you are definitely going to require this export operation, because to get the IDs, you can use export. Now you can perform anything, Now let's say I want to update all these records, the ones where type is missing. I can update all these records and put it back. Okay. Instead of manually going up and updating them, I can just update these records. Let's say I would just quickly check and populate the values for the type or any missing fields, and then I'll update this into Salesforce. All right. Or I want to quickly delete all these records, I can just go ahead and say delete the records. Fine. So that's how an export option works. Okay. Now the next thing that we'll do is inserting related records. Okay. Now if I've got related records which need to be inserted, let's say I've got 4 accounts and 4 contacts. Now these 4 accounts will go into the account table and 4 contacts are going to go into the contact table. All right. So you will have to perform 2 insert operations, one for account, one for contact. So how do we do that? And it's not just performing 2 individual operations. We also have to make sure that the contacts which are inserted are associated with the accounts. Let's see if I've got some contact files. Okay. Now let's say I have got this 4 contacts also. All right. And these 4 contacts are from the 4 accounts that we created. Okay. So let's assume that we have got okay. Let's say this is the kind of file that you have got. In this file you have got accounts and you have got contact information, right? So I have a company called accounting and finance personnel, and then this company has I've got all the information of the company, and after that I have got information of the individual, right? So obviously this part of the information, if you have got this kind of a file where you have company information as well as the information of the contact, now if you see, this side of the info will go into account and this should go into contact. Yes. Okay. Though it's in the same spreadsheet, but this is account information and this should go into the account object and this should go into the contact object, right? So what we'll have to do, we have to perform 2 operations here, 2 insert operations. One insert operation for account in which I will insert all these fields. Okay. So you can create one CSV file with all these fields, insert accounts, and one operation will be insert contacts for these fields. All right. Okay. Now in account and contact, which one is parent, which one is child? Which one is parent? Bit of a relationship field concept is going to be used here. So account contact, which one is parent? Account or contact? Account and contact. Which one do you think is a parent?